All right, so we are back from the break. It was a good break.
That was a good break.
So we are now jumping to the world of the Super Nintendo.
Double jumping to the world of Super Nintendo?
Double jumping, yeah.
That's good.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. I already said that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm repeating myself. But just a super console.
It is super. Every game came out with super.
I don't think we need to restart the beginning because we're not even supposed to say it's Super Nintendo because it's Super Ghouls and Ghosts. You're supposed to know it right at the beginning.
Right, it's supposed to be by default. If it's super... Well, that's not true because I believe there was a Super Volleyball for Nintendo.
Okay.
And it wasn't on Super Nintendo. So maybe that's misleading. This one's for the Super Nintendo though. It came out in 91.
Wow.
Which was really early in the Super Nintendo's life.
Yeah, really early and very good graphics for the time.
I really like the art style.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those games you could take screenshots of the game and they would look nice. No matter almost where you pick anything. I found the colors were great, the presentation's really nice, the enemy selections were good.
Yeah, it didn't feel like 91. It felt like it was at later age of the Super Nintendo. It's true?
Definitely.
Originally, this game was on the NES or the arcade?
Bit of both.
Bit of both?
Well, technically this is the sequel. Because there's Ghosts and Goblins, which was on the arcade and the NES. And then they released Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is almost like a sequel, or at least a spiritual successor. It uses very similar mechanics and same characters, but
just that,
not the same levels.
Not the same level and like updated graphics once again.
Yeah.
But the first one on the NES was very hard because the ending, I don't know what they did, but they just like did whatever they want. Basically, you finish the game. You have 6 levels, and when you beat the final boss, it says that it was only an illusion, it's by Satan, so you have to restart the game, and you have less time to do the levels.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know, maybe it was a concept, but as a kid, it was pretty, you'd be pretty angry about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's not an easy game either. This is actually a very challenging game.
I'm gonna quote you. You said it's harder than Mega Man.
Yeah, well, it was made by Capcom, so I mean, it gives me that right to compare it to other Capcom games.
Yeah, I believe.
And even Mega Man, I found, is very doable once you figure out the patterns.
Yeah, we were talking about
But this is one of those games where there's no pattern. It almost seems like everything is random.
Yeah, because the enemies come out whenever they want, and
at least it seems that way.
It seems that way, yeah.
I'm not any programmer, and I'm not a whiz kid. I won't figure out random patterns like that, but it's something though very very challenging, and I think another reason for that is the jumping.
Okay.
Is that since in the game you couldn't move your character when you jumped, you have to choose which way or your
before
distance.
You do the second jump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So once you're jumping, you're committed. That's it. You can't move around. Not like Mega Man, where if you jump and you realize something didn't work, you can almost switch back and still have that opportunity to fix yourself. But this, and
do you think it was a choice for the game, or it was the bad programming? What do you think?
I think it's, I don't know what it is.
Hard to say.
It could be both, but at least it could be
both.
worked into the to the concept of the game. I mean, just imagine you're a knight and you have all this armor and you jump. It's gonna be harder for you to move when you've already jumped.
Technically.
Then because you have all that forward momentum. But then again, a double jump makes no sense in this concept either, so I think that theory's done. I think it was just the style of the game, and they never switched it because it's one of those characteristics of the game that makes it so popular.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, this game was hard, but I didn't feel like I was being cheated in any way. It just feels like, I should have known what was happening, and I should have been more ready. And
it depends, because sometimes you feel cheated, like when at the end of the first level, for example, you have the water level, whatever. The water part, you have to know you have to be on the stone, on the rocks before the waves. Yeah. So you have to know it.
You do have to know it, but it's not.
Another great thing about this game is the weapons also.
I really like the weapons. Yep.
Yeah. More you go on, more you have better weapons. I don't know why. I really like the fire weapon just because I find it was very effective. But when the enemy was like far away, that was useless.
Yeah, I like the daggers actually.
Daggers, okay.
They're fast.
Can you upgrade them?
Yeah, throughout the game. Well, in this one you could get armor upgrades, and armor upgrades will also upgrade your weapons. So if you had a level 2 armor, your weapon would go further or would have fire behind it or something. And then the 3rd level would allow you to charge your weapon, and you could release a super attack almost, and it's unlimited, so you can charge it as many times as you want and release. So I mean, those are little things that you're trying to help you with. But again, it's one hit and you lose all your armor, another hit and you die. So it's still a 2-hit game, no matter which way you check it out. I like the music too. It was really it suits well with the Halloween theme. I find. I mean,
it's true.
There's a lot of monsters. It's really
even the beginning, like the music. I don't know if you check the intro, but it feels like it's a horror game or a movie. It's very fun. I mean, for the time, it was very good.
Yeah, like one of those classic horror movies or monster movies, like the original Dracula or the original Frankenstein. It really gets that. It hits that tone perfectly, and it really feels like you're playing a monster game with certain stories behind each of the monsters, because you can almost identify which monsters are from what series. I mean, you have the evil magician, you have ghosts, you meet weird plants at some point. Yeah, so it's all really well made and well designed. It's a hard game though.
Yeah, it's known for its difficulty challenge. It's true.
I don't know if you got this far, but there's I think in the 3rd or 4th level, there's a point where you're climbing a tower, and the tower is in 3D spinning around you. There's an enemy you meet on the tower, which is actually from one of Capcom's other games, from Capcom's Demon Head, I believe. And it sees like a red demon with bat wings, and he flies around and shoots fireballs at you.
I think I really saw him, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you could already see Capcom has access to all these other franchises, and they're putting them together.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Cool,
and exactly. Yeah. So it's definitely something to look for when you're playing this game, because I think there's probably more little cameos like that throughout that I wasn't aware of, or maybe in the background. I mean, even the main hero of the game, Arthur, I believe is his name.
Yeah, it's Arthur.
He's made a few other cameos in other games. I think the one I remember the most is probably Marvel vs. Capcom, the fighting game.
Okay.
He would come out and he would throw his spears. So it's little things like that. I mean, that's Capcom, cool. That company that has so many franchises, but uses them properly, unlike, let's say, a Sega, who doesn't.